Hello and welcome to the Driving in Wyoming podcast from AaronOnAutos.com. This is Aaron. Today we're going to talk about the 2014 Scion TC. The Scion TC was the Toyota brand's second car after the XB People Mover began the entry-level Scion brand about 10 years ago. The TC began with three main goals. That was to deliver coupe styling with good performance and on a budget. The 2014 Scion TC keeps with that formula and as a result is a great little car for its intended and very enthusiastic audience. This great looking little car has plenty of style and of course more power than necessary, which is exactly what those who want a car like this expect. It makes fast noises, has enough versatility to be useful every day, and kind of screams I'm single and want to go places. For commuters looking to maximize miles per gallon, for families, or for carpoolers, the TC is not going to be your car. For young first-time buyers looking for a fun little car that probably should come with some sticker warnings for those turning their heads to watch it go by, this is the car. The Scion TC dumps practicality for fun, but doesn't do so in such a way that it has to be parked all the time because it just isn't good enough. It has a lot of everything included. At the heart of its popularity is its good looks. Its very conventional coupe styling has a fastback hatch shape as its base. From there it gets interesting. The grille's all about sports with wide opening scoops and an abrupt bump at the hood. This flows up in a fast curve to the windshield. All of this denotes movement at the front. The lines in the hood accelerate this feeling, and the NASCAR-style windscreen and flat roof taper suddenly at the back to enter the fastback rear end, and that rear end has a slight trunk bump which hints at a spoiler. Sides are smooth and simple. There's a straight belt line and these wonderful arrowhead-shaped rear glass. It creates a thick pillar. The clipped rear end has a muscle car appeal and slight bulges over the rear tires to add muscularity. Overall, it's a fast, simple design that screams sports car at every point, especially with those great-looking 16-inch alloy wheels. Under the hood, all of this is powered by a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine coupled to a 6-speed sequential automatic transmission. Those drive the front wheels. Combination delivers 179 horsepower, which is about 79 more than this car would need if it were meant to be a high MPG commuter. Except it's not. This is actually meant to be a fun little car, and so those extra horses give it a kind of fun factor that only having more power than you really should have does. Obviously, this TC is not going to win any circuit races, but it does make for fun times when you're jumping off the light, bounding up the freeway ramp, and all that. The car's exhaust has a wide open sound, and the whole car just kind of says, I want to be driven. Now, the funny thing is that doesn't mean that it's hard to get into. When I first saw the car, I thought, oh great, my big beef-eating 6'3" frame is not going to get in there. I'm going to need a shoehorn. The truth of the matter is, though, the doors are very wide, and the interior is much larger than you would think, because it is all open. That open plan all the way back through the hatchback is just great. The back seats are a little bigger than you would think they are, and so the whole car is just bigger and more comfortable than you would expect. Of course, it's still a small car, but it's not so tiny that you have to jam yourself in there. The front seats are very comfortable and sporty, and the car is only about $20,000. And at that price, it comes very well connected. This all centers around a Pioneer Display audio system, which is a full touchscreen that pipes out through an 8-speaker sound system. This car makes a lot of highway noise, but you won't notice that because you can crank the radio and forget it. That's what this car is for. It's to crank the tunes and drive fast. Now, fast is relative. It can feel fast and not be fast. When I first tried the car, I drove it from Pine Bluffs to Kimball and back. And that's only about 40 miles total. In that time, I was going at about 80 miles per hour. Well, it felt like I was going faster than that. That's the point of this car. You can go the speed limit, or slightly above, or still feel like you're going much faster than that. It's a very fun car to drive. It's not sporty in the sense of a Porsche or something like that. You know, it doesn't have that, but it's only $20,000. It's not a $70,000 car. But it has a lot of great fun in it. It just feels like it's fun. And that's what you want out of a car like this. It has a 26 miles per gallon combined rating. Now, that comes from 23 miles per gallon in the city and 31 miles per gallon on the highway. In the real world, I was getting closer to 25 in the city, a little bit better than it says it should, but I was getting less than that 31 on the freeway. Washing out, it still comes out to about that 26 overall. So that's what most drivers could probably expect here in Wyoming at this altitude. The trouble with the TC is it's just really hard not to mash the pedal down all the time because it just wants you to drive in a non-ecologically friendly way. It's fun. That's a big part of this car's appeal. Competitors for the Scion TC include several vehicles, but probably the chiefest of those is going to be the Hyundai Veloster. The Hyundai Veloster is a very, very similar car. The two cars are very much the same in terms of specifications and how they feel. The difference is mainly about styling. If you want a slightly more aggressive-looking car, you would want that Hyundai. Otherwise, you would go with the Scion. The price points are about the same, the performance is about the same, and the drive feel is about the same. Other competitors that are a little more expensive than this car are the Kia Forte and the Honda Civic in their two-door forms. Those two cars are slightly more expensive but have a little more contemporary look to them. So it's up to what you want out of the car and what you're willing to spend to get it. Overall, though, the 2014 Scion TC offers everything the buyer looking for a fun little sports car on a budget could ask for. It has a fun driving dynamic, has great looks, and it isn't so impractical that you'll have to park it most of the time. All of this comes at a great price point of only about $20,000. We drove the Scion TC for about a week, but a lot of that had heavy storms, so we didn't put as many miles as we wanted on this car. It does not handle really well in very bad weather. It does okay when the weather is better, or when after the roads have been plowed and there's been some time for the sun to come out and do its work. So we only put about 135 miles on the car. But that was mixed driving, usual Wyoming cycle, mostly highway with some city. And the car did pretty well for what you would expect out of a car of this type. Most of its drawback in the ice and snow is the fact that it is so lightweight and has so much power at those front wheels. But as it is, it's still a great little fun car. And for those who are at the entry level and want to buy a car like this that don't need a sedan and want a little sport coupe, this is a great choice. It was a fun little car to drive. So for the Driving in Wyoming podcast, this has been Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com. We'll talk to you again soon.